Another wonderful day to you, and welcome to the program Critical Lens here on Atlantic TV. My name is Chimobin Zaramobi. Delta State is marking the 2 years anniversary of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori in office. And today we dive into the issue of security. How has the governor of Delta State, His Excellency Right Honorable Sheriff Francis Oborevwori, fared in 2 years? Today we are at the office of the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Security Matters, Engineer Emmanuel Udoka. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. God bless you. Welcome.
Let's get down to it. 2 years the governor has been in office and you have been his EA. How would you say, let's look at the issue of security first generally. How would you say that the governor has fared?
To me, the governor has done so well. You're in worry. You know the way worry used to be before today. You know? Immediately after general election of 2023, we started experiencing a lot of security challenges to the point that persons were being kidnapped on a daily basis along Refinery Road, Airport Road, and every other part of Warri. But today, by the grace of God, we have gone beyond that. You see, not everything we come out to say in public. But however, for me, Governor has done so well as regards security of Warri and environment.
Let's come down to the issue of kidnapping. At some point, it was difficult moving from Efron roundabout to Ugili. What has the governor done in the last 2 years to handle the issue of kidnapping? And what is the state of things right now?
You know, just like I said, immediately, as soon as he was sworn in, you remember that if you are conversant with the story of that Warri Supply Road, you remember that he was attacked during his campaign, during the campaign period that brought him to this office today. Kidnappers were ravaging around that Warri Supply Road, Efro Supply Road, and every other, even Ugeli. But it got to a point, the governor said to him, this cannot happen. And you know, just the way you don't expect him to pick up arms and begin to go after kidnappers. He was special advisor to governor on security. He was special advisor to the governor on security. So for me, he understands security more than anyone of us. So he called or summoned some security heads, and by the grace of God, we have achieved that. Let me not just go into how we were able to do it, but what is there that we have done so well.
If we're going to look at numbers, how many kidnappers have we been able to, the state been able to apprehend within the period under review?
Maybe there are the police and the PPR of Delta State should keep the data, but I know we have done so well.
Let's look at the issue of proliferation of small arms, or in fact arms. You look around Warri and environs, that is a major concern. What is exactly the situation when it comes to mopping up of arms from illegal arms for that matter?
Yes. You know, I was SSA to Governor on security before this new office. You know, because one thing about crime is if you are chasing criminals and you have a little break, they will come after you. So the best bet is just to go after them. And we keep doing that. You know, when this new office came, it was on the heat period where we are having that Igbo, where landlords were trying to sell their houses and others. That was the time.
They were trying to sell their houses
because of kidnappers and others, you know. So much security challenges around Igbo, Otokutu, and other neighboring communities, even Agbaro. So that was when I was given this appointment, and the governor directed specifically that I should assist, that he knew what I did in Ekpa. He has heard of how I assisted the police to recover arms in Ekpa, that I should, and by the grace of God, Egbo is a calm place today, and I don't think those landlords that wanted to sell their buildings can still sell it today. Now, in Ekpa alone, we gave amnesty as well, and we recovered 72 light and heavy arms. Yeah? And apart from that, we also recovered over 10,000 ammunitions.
That is in Ekpa community alone.
That is why you see, unlike before, because every nook and cranny, every point in Ekpa, every quarter in Ekpa have catch of arms. But today is a very peaceful community. So that the governor has done. My office, that is what I was able to achieve with the assistant of His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori.
This amnesty that you talk about, was it extended to other communities?
Yes. Governor directed that we should give amnesty to some other communities, and the amnesty is still open. That is why we devoted a particular phone line. Some days ago, a lady called me from Lagos that the father owned a gun before he died, and he wants the police to come for the guns. I wanted to drive down to Gale to pick up the gun, but I said, no, we are working together. They have police there. I have to call the DPO there, the A Division DPO. I've forgotten his name, but I have his number. I called him, and I linked him up to the lady in question, and he recovered the arms.
So let's just.
So the amnesty program is still open.
Okay. So just before we leave this part of the conversation, if somebody wants to return their arms, what number do they call? How do they reach out to say, we want to surrender?
Yeah, you see, I prefer to do that through community leaders. Because sometimes some persons will tell you that they want to drop their arms, whereas they just want to set you up. So if you want to drop your arms, that's we work with the local government chairman. We work with the local government chairman, the president generals of the community. They should be aware that you have guns, and you return it to them. Then we can pick the guns from them. That's what we do. But if you feel you don't trust them enough, you can come to the police station. Yeah? Police according to Wari people now, everybody house. When you come to police station, we can just give you assistance, give you details on police to you, then pick the arms up. And we even have handshake with you, because a lot of people are scared of dropping their arms. But through this amnesty programs of His Excellency, I think we have done so well. That is why you see we are experiencing a very quiet and calm Wari.
So is there a dedicated line? I mean, I have security concerns.
Yeah, I
want to report security concerns in my area. I want to assist somebody. How do we go about that?
Yes, that is why we dedicated this our emergency security number 08026723338. I think a lot of persons, I get calls. Sometimes I get called 3 a.m. 2 a.m. Sometimes I don't sleep because of handling emergency cases. And I must tell you that it has yielded so much fruit for Delta.
We'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we delve into an issue that played out some time ago, especially as it affects the Okere prison. There was an allegation, there was a report that went out about activities of inmates outside the prison. That will be coming up right after this break.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Dual plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
All right, welcome back from that break. We're still with Engineer Emmanuel Udoka, the Executive Assistant to Governor Sheriff Oborevwori on security matters. Earlier this year, you flagged up a major concern about inmates at the Wari Okere Correctional Center being allowed to go out for operations and come back into the facility. There were also reports that some officers of the correctional service were taking part or receiving part of the loot by the criminals. Walk us through what exactly happened. How did you find out about that, and what exactly was done by the state?
Yeah, what happened was that there was an armed robbery operation around Nijakat axis. Being my area of operation, and I decided to, join the police for discreet investigations. So I found out that there was, during the operation, they made transfer to a PAMPay account. And we started trailing who owns the PAMPay account. So we made some arrests and arrested a girl who owns the account. And the girl confessed that the owner, that someone she met on Facebook asked her to open this very account, And before she, just 2 days after that, she saw about 4 million naira in that account, and the guy called immediately to say I was the one that made that transfer. So from then, her story became so interesting. We want to know where is that person? So we started tracking only to see that the person was calling her from the prison. So after, what we did was, the money, the person gave her some account number to transfer money into. Some were transferred 1.2, some 600, just like that, they shared the money. So we started, investigating those accounts, and we trailed the owner to be in the prison. Some of them are on death row. So what we did was, we went to the prison and we presented our case, and we intend to just let the whole world know what is happening. Some of them started begging, but I said no. You can beg police, but you can't beg us, because we are destroying the image of my governor and the Delta State at large. So what I did was, I had to blew the trumpet myself. So upon the trumpet, a lot started, unveiling. Before we know it, they transferred the very suspect, because we have unknown to them that there are some suspects, they have their pictures, but we are neutralizing one or two operations. They kept the pictures, and they brought the person's picture to us to say this was the person we were looking for. We said no. Even the CSP Ali Shaba has to call their attention to, this very suspect you are presenting, his picture was neutralized so many months in an operation. So, well, being an interagency issue, police and prison, we left that to, for them to handle. But I know that at the time, the minister in charge of the correctional centers sent delegates to Delta, and he also confirmed that our investigations were not false alarm.
Let me ask, what level of investment has the state made in terms of building on intelligence? And there's a lot of reactive security protocols or security moves. But what are the investment? Are we making investment towards gathering intelligence, being able to deal with security threats before they even materialize?
Yes, you see, we have a lot of SSAs and SAs. If you are privileged to see look into their letter of appointment, you see, they are actually appointed to assist the security agencies to gather informations, gather intelligence. You know, that's why we have SSA, SAs, and some of them waterways. So that is what the governor has done, and I believe apart from that, security information is something you don't just place in the hands of everybody. There are people that are critically into the business of intelligence gathering, but we don't. So most of them are faceless. We don't like to, expose them to the public because they can be. Don't be surprised that the man sitting next to you is an intelligence officer. So that's how we work.
And in terms of advanced security technologies, are we investing in those
Yes,
areas?
the government of His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, has invested so much, and I don't want to also talk about it because let me just dwell a little about that. You see, we have instructed all the filling stations, the public places like churches, mosques, and every other place. In fact, we have made it mandatory that you must own a CCTV camera. And apart from that, we have our model ZX2 camera. That camera is just like satellite. We have installed it in some part of this worry, and that is why you see that sometimes before once any crime, you see what happened when they killed three police officers at Japa Road. You remember that incident? Before we radioed ourselves, I was calling, other persons were calling. Before we knew, we were able to, create an artificial hold up, and that was how we intercepted the killers. And what they did, because they kidnapped a woman who happens to be the wife of one of the assembly, House of Assembly, present serving House of Assembly member. So what we did was if anything of such happened, we link ourselves. Like they stole one car from around Warri Stadium. They called the emergency line, and it happens to be that I hold the lines with me. So I responded, and I asked, where are they driving to? They said they are driving towards Sapler Road. And I quickly informed the soldiers, and before you know, we were able to intercept, and they ran away before we could get to the bed. What happened is that we have strong link that controls almost all the security, intelligence, and others around Warri.
Still on the issue of the security, let's switch over and talk about the issue of Fulani headsmen, farmer headers crisis. The previous administration started off MOVE, and there was a law that banned open grazing, but we still see reports of headsmen with their cattle destroying farmlands and damaging people's means of livelihood. And of course, we also see attacks on innocent village farmers or rural farmers. What exactly is the state government doing to be able to curtail these issues?
You see, recently we created a format. We want to profile. We are on it. We are already profiling all the headers in Delta. You see, not all the Fulani headers are criminals. Not all the Fulani headers are kidnappers. Okay, let me take you to what happened around Uwedo when they killed 6 police officers. We started monitoring the calls as soon as they killed that man. We started monitoring the calls coming from that environment. And we set up underground intelligence work, and we made some arrests, and that led us to recovery of 6 rifles belonging to the 6 police officers. And we handed that, because when we arrested, we handed to IRT, Intelligence Response Team. We handed over to them, and through them, they recovered 6 rifles. So, not all are criminals, but the criminal elements among them is the reason why we devised this means of profiling them. Not only them, we are also profiling everybody that is coming into Delta now, because of the heat they are giving, hot chase they are giving them in Anambra State. Soludo is actually giving criminals hot chase there. So some of them find the Delta to be like a breeding ground for criminals, and because of that, we devised this measure of profiling every new face, and that will also give us a lot to take home.
All right, we will now wrap it up with what's happening in Warri South. The whole delineation issue seems to have raised some dust in certain ends, and there's this palpable tension, about potential crisis and what have you. What is the state doing security-wise to ensure that things don't degenerate?
You see, right from the beginning of that Warri crisis, Warri uprising, immediately after Supreme Court judgment,
Delineation
judgment, we started following up, and you can see that we were able to intercept, with the help of DSS, we were able to intercept the man supplying them guns. We intercept and recover about 57 rifles and other arms and ammunition. As a state, we wouldn't want to go back to where we are coming from. You remember, if you were in Warri during 1999 Warri crisis, you see that we lost a lot of persons, and we will do everything possible as a state to ensure that the repeat of what happened during the Warri time. Another Urobo man in government, then it was an Urobo man in government, now another Urobo man. No, we will do everything possible to ensure that that crisis will not happen. However, we have also detailed some of our intelligence officers to begin to check derogatory comments and posts on Facebook, Twitter, and other, all those publications that can aggravate the anger of the people. So we are also checking on all those ones, and to ensure that if you go above, if handshake goes beyond arm length, you will have a case to answer.
Anyway, so on a final note, what's going to be your final words to Deltans, even as the governor is celebrating his 2 years now?
Yes, I want to tell Deltans that security generally is not government business alone. Security is every man's business. And, if we begin to have this understanding of when you see something, say something, it will help us a lot. It will help us a lot. So, Deltans, note that security of Delta State should not be left in the hands of government alone. We are all stakeholders. Thank you, and God bless you.
Indeed, security cannot be left in the hands of government alone. We are all stakeholders. And with that, we'll come to the end of this edition of the program, Critical Lens, here on Atlantic TV. Join us next week for another edition. My name is Chimobin Zaramobi. Have a great time.